Welcome to the Power of Music podcast, brought to you by JM International. Get ready to explore conversations with those making a difference through music.
Hello and welcome to the Power of Music podcast, brought to you by JMI, Jeunesse Musicales International, the global network of NGOs that empowers young people through music across all boundaries. In this episode, we're joined by Lucija Maroević, a vocalist, cultural anthropologist, longtime Ethno participant, mentor, and organizer. Based in Zagreb and Grožnjan, Lucija has led vocal workshops, directed choirs, and participated in Ethno gatherings all across Europe and beyond. Since 2024, she serves as the co-chair of the Ethno committee at JMI. Ethno being JMI's international program that brings young musicians together to share traditional music through peer-to-peer learning, cultural exchange, and community. Our conversation explores what it really means to preserve traditional music, balancing authenticity with reinterpretation, and why vocalists should be recognized as vital instruments in any music group or ensemble. We reflect on 70 years of Ethno Croatia, the magic of Grožnjan as a musical and cultural hub, and what lies ahead for the future of Ethno. As always, if you enjoy our content, don't forget to subscribe, like, and rate the podcast. We hope you enjoy the episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. First, can you share a little bit about your journey into music?
I can share a lot about my journey into music because it's quite an untypical one. When I was a kid, all of the other kids went to music school, and I was this one kid who didn't want to do all of the things that the other kids did. So I said, no, Mom, I don't want to go to music school. But I did start singing in choirs from a very young age. I think I was probably still in kindergarten when it happened. So it's also not surprising that I work with choirs mainly now. And then I actually got more into music through Ethno. I was majoring in ethnology and cultural anthropology. I have a master's degree in this. And also in German language and literature, I have a master's for translating. And through a colleague of mine, I found out about the Ethno project. And I started to attend as a participant first and volunteer and so on. And this is kind of when my jumping point was, that I realized I'm not a hobbyist. I am much more than this. And then, because I am almost 10 years in the program now, it really helped me develop. I mean, now I'm an artistic mentor at other ethnos. I'm an artistic director of choirs, orchestras. I do a lot of different musical projects. So I do consider myself at least a semi-professional now. So that's my journey. Very, like I was not, I like to say I was not meant to be a musician. That was not the trajectory that people planned for me. Because I guess, I think it comes from good intentions. Like everybody wants the best for you, and there is this silly mindset that you cannot make it in life if you are doing music. But then I proved that you can. Mm-hmm. So it's quite an achievement, I would say. I'm quite happy about this trajectory, that it happened. It was never planned. It was never meant to be. But now it is here, and I'm continuing this for sure. Like, this is what I want to do in life. And I mean, last year, I'm quite happy actually. Last year, I finally gave up on my translating job because I was super unhappy. It was a very toxic environment. And so I took this leap of like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'd rather be jobless for a while and even move back into with my parents. Oh my God. I mean, I was desperate when I left this job. But then things happened, and now I am here, and it's like, great. So let's continue this. I don't have a problem with it.
So you switched from German language to universal language of music.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. That's great. That's great. Yeah. And then 2022, I was asked to take over as program coordinator or organizer, however you want to call it, for Ethno Croatia, because I have been attending in the past as participant. I was volunteer, also I was cooking. I did all of the things. And then I was doing this as an external for a few years. And then they liked me so much in Jeunesse Musicale Croatia that last year they offered me a full-time job as producer. So now Ethno is also part of my job, which, I mean, right now not a lot of people can say this. We all do it out of passion, out of love. It's mostly volunteering stuff, but I'm quite happy that I'm kind of out of this gray area of not really being able to support myself with this project, but now I can. And because I can, I have much more opportunities. So I am extremely thankful for Jeunesse Musicale Croatia that they considered me as good enough to be part of the team. Because let's be honest, Jeunesse Musicale Croatia is an amazing association. They have been around for 70 years. Actually, last year we celebrated 70 years. So it is an honor actually to be part of this. It was not Jeunesse Musicale Croatia forever. It used to be Muzička omladina when it was still Yugoslavia. One of our founding members is currently with us here in Grožnjan, Naima Balić. She was 14 years old when this all started. At the end of last year, we celebrated our 70th anniversary. We are still in the 70-year thing. And also 55, 56 years of this beautiful little town of Grožnjan. Maybe this is worth mentioning that Ethno Croatia happens in Grožnjan. It's a small town in Istra, which is the triangle region of Croatia, or the head of the dragon. Some people say Croatia looks like a dragon on the map. And this little town is a medieval town. The structure of it is very typical for the region. Like you have a small town on the top of a hill. And it used to be fortified, like the edges of the city. It was a fort, more or less. And 56 years ago, the International Cultural Center of Jeunesse Musicale Croatia was founded here. And now it is also one of the two world meeting centers of Jeunesse Musicale International, alongside with Weikersheim in Germany. And it's quite it's a very different place. It has this strange magic, which I don't know how to explain, really. And I think part of this magic also translates to Ethno Croatia. And so that's what drew me in. Like when I was invited to take over, there was no thinking about it. Like, why would I think about this? I get to spend 10 days here. Come on. I mean, who would say no? And we have a jazz festival. The Jazz is Back BP festival. BP stands for Boško Petrović. He was quite famous jazz musician here, and he also was one of the founders of this jazz school that we have in the summer. And the jazz festival, we call it like the smallest, biggest jazz festival because it happens in this tiny town, but it's 2 weeks long. So we have 14 concerts altogether. And one of the concerts is also Ethno Croatia. Mm-hmm. I do encourage you to check out our YouTube because we do live stream all of the concerts. Not just Ethno, but all of the concerts at the Jazz Festival are live streamed as well. So there is a lot of history here, a lot of legacy. And I am quite proud that I'm part of this legacy and that I get to continue it also and to spread the word about it because it deserves to be at least mentioned somewhere. Like we have seminars here that started when it was founded. Now we celebrate 56 years of the center, 55 years of our piano seminar. So there are actually seminars and masterclasses and other programs that have been going since then. And now we have around 20 to 30 even sometimes projects and programs that happen from, let's say, from April, May until around September. So this is actually the time of year when Grožnjan comes alive because it is quite tiny. It's kind of a residential town. So there are a lot of galleries here and a lot of artists come here residentially or like they live partially here. It used to be an artist colony. So that's why you still have a lot of these artists. And so it was quite fitting, I would say, that we also come here. But really like you walk around and you just hear music everywhere. It's amazing. Like we have piano, we have all of the different wind instruments, we have string instruments. I mean, there are instrument specific seminars, but there is also like we have our own jazz school, we have ethno, we have this piano school. So there is so much going on. We have residencies, like some academies come here, even for drama, for arts. So it's not only music, but yeah, I mean, it's really, there is no better place for the center to be, honestly. Like, it's perfect capacity. It's in the middle of nowhere, so you really get to focus on what you came to do. You cannot escape anywhere. You cannot run away from the music. Yeah. And the views are great. Huh?
Yeah. As I said before.
Just for the views, like you wake up, you open the window and you're like, I want to pause this moment and stay like this for forever, you know?
I can attest to the magic. As I told before the interview, my very first experience with JMI was actually the very first, I think, communication training, which happened here in Grožnjan, I think about 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe less. It always feels longer than it is, but some time ago. And I remember that I used to give a lot of workshops at like festivals and summits and meetups and conferences, and always in mostly big cities. And then I came back from a trip, and one of my business partners had done the call with JMI about this training. And I said, okay, where are we going? So down a small mountain or a small hill, a town in Croatia. I was like, whoa. And then I came here, and it's a surreal place. And I remember that at that time, the son of Phil Collins was playing here. He was here, and we saw him play, and I was like, well, where am I? And I also have to say there's this magic in Grožnjan because it's so beautiful that now we're here again back. So it's my first time back for the joint committee. And I'm only here for 3 days, unfortunately, because I fly in and fly out, and I have a lot of work to do, and I have a lot of podcasts to record. And the first day I was so busy with all the work that I have to do that I kind of forgot that I'm in this beautiful place. And then when you walk outside, it kind of awakened me to be like, hey, slow down.
Yeah.
You're here. Look outside.
Yeah,
Look at the
it
view.
kind of forces you to go out.
Yeah.
Even though it's nice inside. Also, I mean, the part of it, what's maybe worth mentioning is that we have around 100 beds to accommodate people, like participants, kids. So the whole feel of the town is a bit rustic. Let's call it like this, maybe. The way of, or like the building style is called dry stone walling, something like this in English. I'm not sure, maybe check it. But it's basically just stone and mud because it keeps it cold inside, keeps the hot outside during the summer, and in the winter is the other way around. So we also tried to keep the houses that we have here more or less in the same style, because it kind of adds to the feel, no? I mean, it's a medieval town. You want to keep it like this. There are some modern houses popping up here and there, and none of us really enjoy this. We would be much happier if it was all like this.
But at least very authentic.
Yes, thank you. That's a nice one. Yeah, authentic is very nice. And typical for the region.
So we talked about a lot of different things that I would like to hear even more of, but maybe let's start with Ethno itself.
Yeah.
Because for people that are listening that have not heard so much about Ethno, there's been several episodes, so you can either go back to one of the first one with Suchet, who's the director of Ethno, or even there's one with the founder of Ethno. So there's a lot of different episodes. What I always like is that different people also explain it differently. And I think there's always two components that I'd like to hear about from Ethno. One is, what is it actually? Like, could you explain it briefly? Because it's quite a beautiful program, or very beautiful program, but also this magic of Ethno. What is the magic of Ethno?
So Ethno is a program by Jeunesse Musicale International, as you know. It started 35 years ago in Sweden. I mean, you had the founder, Magnus Backström, so I guess if you want to hear more about the beginnings, you should check out his podcast. And the basis of the project or the program is that young people aged between 18 and 30 meet for around a week, 10 days, They don't know each other from before most of the time. They come from all over the world. They sing and play different instruments, maybe traditional, maybe not, doesn't really matter. What also doesn't matter is their musical experience. And for this week that they meet, they teach each other and they learn from each other their music, from their culture, from their country, from their tradition, whatever they feel like it. So it's traditional music, it's ethno, it's world music. That's the genre that we stick to, and it is a large element, this preservation of traditional music. I mean, that's also why the name is ethno. What is very specific about it is that there is no sheet music. It's all learned by ear. And there are artistic mentors that kind of facilitate the process, so it goes a bit smoother. But the actual preparation and learning and practicing is done by the participants. When the music is taught and learned, it's arranged, again with the help of artistic mentors. And then in the end, the kind of product, let's call it like this, is a final concert or multiple concerts where you show, where the orchestra that is formed during this week shows what they learned. That would be my explanation of what it is, kind of. But what it actually
the magic,
is,
exactly.
But what it actually is so much more. It's the perfect platform, or like the perfect vessel to teach sensitivity, understanding, to broaden your mind, to open up yourself, not just to different cultures, but to different mindsets, to different backgrounds. Like really, it opens up a lot of viewpoints that maybe you didn't even know that you don't have them yet, if that makes sense. So it really channels so many things in you, both creatively also. Like I mentioned already, I was not supposed to be a musician, but then I became one because I started with this. Because just by the fact that the participants are, let's say, doing the work, it forces you to go out of whatever you have been in. I don't want to say you have been in a box before, but oftentimes it is like this. So that's one thing that's magical to me, like broadening this cultural and ethnographical and sociological mindset. It's enforcing you also as a musician. It's really making you a better musician. Even if you don't consider yourself a musician, you are becoming better with this program. And then one more thing that is very important to me, and what I also think is super, super important and also adds to this magic, is the fact that it preserves traditional music in the right way. What I mean when I say the right way. I would say in Croatia and also in the surrounding countries, there is this notion of what traditional music is, and they connect this to these kind of folklore groups, which you can kind of imagine. You have a bunch of old people. They sing all of the music the same. They dance all of the dances the same. They have combination of traditional instruments, traditional clothing. But and then they say that the way that they perform it is the right way. What is the problem with this? Can you say that you can perform traditional music in the right way? If it's traditional, it means, by definition, traditional either means it does not have an author as a piece of music, or they keep changing this this level, so it might depend. But usually it's like 70 years or older, considered traditional. But if it's 200 years old and you were not there, how do you know this is the right way? I don't like it when people say traditional music is authentic and this is how it sounded like. You were not alive then. You don't have recordings because there were no recording devices. And what you are essentially doing with this viewpoint is that you are putting the music or any other sort of tradition, doesn't have to be music, but anything intangible. You are putting it in a box or like putting it behind the glass as if it was a museum exhibition. And it's intangible. You cannot see it, you cannot grasp it, you can only feel it. And if you feel it correctly, then you know that if you want to preserve tradition, it has to be fluid. If it's static, if it doesn't change with the time, it's not gonna last. It's not gonna stay alive. And I think Ethno does this the perfect way. Like it's we all, whether we are involved as organizers or as mentors, we all really care about, like, you as a participant bring the music, and I want you to teach me all about this music in the sense of providing a context. What are the rules? Because everything has some rules. Every tradition has some rules. And then we stick to what is a rule. And then we see how we can expand it and how we can adapt it to where we are now. I'm pretty sure that, like, if you look at maybe concert videos of an Ethno 20, 30 years ago, the arranging style is not going to sound the same as it sounds now. But that's how it's supposed to be. And we are still preserving all of this. I still know all of the music I learned 10 years ago at an Ethno because it is doing it the right way. It's teaching it the right way. It's giving it the context in the right way. And it really makes it stick with you. And I think all of these little elements of Ethno are part of how it works. So it's not just one thing. It's really all of the little elements, all of the pieces, they come together. And I am kind of dissing these folklore groups, and a lot of people might get mad at me because older generations of ethnologists think like this. And us newer generations are a bit more open, and we understand. Because I have actually, while I was studying at university, I have experienced a tradition dying out because of this mindset. I was researching a small place also in this region, actually, where they have a specific, let's call it a language. It exists only there, which is very interesting because it's around the size of Grožnjan, so not a lot of people. And they also had a vocal group, which was around 10 men. When I started doing the research, they were already 65 plus. And by talking to them, I saw this mindset, like, oh no, it's like this. This is the way. Only this, nothing else. And then they complain about how young people are not interested, and it's this circle. And I mean, you hear it all of the time. If you start this conversation with somebody who's a bit older, I think you will, and who's into this type of music, you will hear the same thing. But I go along with this. I'm still a student. What do I know? So I'm doing my research. Okay, let's go. And I do my follow-up research about a year later. And there are not 10 anymore. There are like 7. And then I come back a year after to present the research. There's not even 7 anymore. It's 5. And then the few years after, you hear that there is no more. So essentially, this tradition of a specific singing style, singing in a specific language about specific things, goes away. You have some recordings, but you lost the bearer of the tradition. And I always say, like, the bearer of the tradition is the one who will teach you. And the bearer of the tradition is the one who decides what his or her or their tradition is. And this is what you need to rely on. Not what the book is saying. Not like, this is the way, this is the old way, the right way. So when I kind of experienced this, I said, no, this is not the way I will approach tradition. My tradition or other traditions, I will never approach them this way, because if you approach them this way, you lose them. And it's all so precious. It gives you so much context about people and about way of living, way of thinking, emotions, all of it. So you lose it essentially if you have this wrong. I mean, I don't like to say what is right and what is wrong. So maybe wrong is not the good expression, but you know what I mean.
Well, what I hear is that a tradition has the most value when it's alive.
Yeah, and if it's not alive, then you don't have it anymore.
Just for the history books.
Yeah.
It's just,
and you cannot really learn from a history book.
No, it's just an archive piece.
And even then you don't know if it's correctly archived. So this is also funny to me. They are using an archive which was made, I don't know how many hundreds of years ago. How are you relying on just this? We don't even use sheet music. We rely on our ears and our memories. I rely on my little books of texts that I write, how I would say them, you know. But it helps you learn languages. I mean, you learn how to pronounce different languages. It really expands you so much. You learn new instruments. I mean, I could go on for hours.
If a tradition is alive and really alive, then it's also very likely that within 1 kilometer difference, it will sound rather different.
Yeah, but that's it. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So then there cannot be one uniform traditional version.
No.
So I don't feel like you were dissing people here. I actually think it was a lovely advice coming from a good place. But if we keep on the train of dissing, in the pre-interview, we talked a little bit about you felt dissed in the past as a singer compared to people who play actual,
I'm doing just a singer.
Exactly, actual instruments. I'm doing air quotes here. So maybe we can talk about not dissing, but being dissed.
Yeah, I mean, I failed to mention this. I am a frustrated vocalist. I call myself a vocalist, not a singer, because when you say you're a singer, it's like, you sing? And? What do you want? What more do you want? I have the best instrument. All of us have it. Did you know this? And I had a lot of frustration throughout my life because, again, maybe this is coming from this idea of I was not supposed to be a musician. I was just a singer. And you always felt a bit less valued because, one, you don't have this classical music education, because I didn't want to do that. It was boring because everybody else was doing it. But still you want to do it and you know you are good. But it's very difficult to prove that. I have it. Even in a few of my first ethnos, I had this frustration. So it's not, ethno is fantastic, but even there, this kind of happened. But then I was like, okay, now I am in this network. Now I am in this fantastic project. Now I have the platform to educate people that it's not like this. I mean, I'm very sorry to every other instrument, but the voice is the best instrument. Now I'm dissing you back, huh? You dissed me all of these years. Now I'm giving it back. Because you can sing with it, of course, but you can imitate all other instruments. You can imitate nature sounds, animal sounds, technical sounds. I mean, there's so many things you do with the voice, and I really feel like for many years it has been underappreciated, and I don't necessarily think it's coming from bad intentions. It's just people don't know. People don't think about it, maybe. So I'm very happy that now I am kind of this advocate of, no, I mean, voice is the best and everybody else is not. So I am giving back this because of a decade of frustration, I would say. A decade of being dissed, that I am just a singer. I mean, I play other instruments. I am a multi-instrumentalist, but I don't have the necessity to mention this because my main instrument is my voice. And this is where I specialize. And I am happy to, I would say that I contributed a lot on this topic in the network, because one of the things that you have in this ethno orchestra that forms during the ethno camp is we divide it into sections. There is, let's call it a rhythm section, which includes percussion, E-bass, double bass, something like this. You have melody section, which usually are string instruments and wind instruments. You have accompaniment section, which is guitars, accordions. And then you have, logically, it would be vocal section. but in practice, the singers, or even worse, the choir. If you have 3 sections, then why are we not a section? We are the vocal section. So if I ever mentor at an ethno or I'm organizing, I'm like, oh, we are all 4 sections. That's how it is. It's not 3 sections plus the singers. So again, this is kind of a diss, in my opinion. So I am really voicing this in the whole network, and I am happy to say that it is also shown in numbers in how important this is. As part of Ethno, we have a lot of monitoring and evaluation, and we look at a lot of numbers, and it's a lot of surveys, and it's all super important to us because it helps us see how to grow the program, how to make it better. And in the first round of these surveys, there was a list of instruments which people could choose from. Like what is your main and what are your accompanied instruments and so on. And I guess I was not there yet in the network as an organizer when the first round of the surveys were sent out. So I didn't see it before, but I was there when the first results came. And I see this list of instruments. And the first thing I notice is what is not there. Just the singers are not there. And I lose my mind, like in front of the meeting, in front of a lot of people. And it really is it was bubbling up for a decade in me that is like, come on, this is the perfect platform, the perfect program to show that all instruments are equal, if nothing else. So I don't want to be left out. And my instrument makes up a whole section of the orchestra. You cannot really have it without this section. And I'm like, what is your problem with the voice, I mean, let's not blame the people who made the survey. But in general, I was like, come on, this program is supposed to be different, And then finally, we add the voice to the list. And in the next year, in the next round of results, which instrument is the main instrument? Just the singer. So I think that was one way also that proved my point quite loudly, and it was well recognized as well. And so I was like, okay, now I can advocate even more. Now I can even push even more and show even more that it's important, and we get more and more vocal applications every year since then, which also shows something, I guess. Yeah.
Beautiful. So after all these years and all these different roles with Ethno, of course, you're also now chair of Ethno. We haven't even talked about that.
Oh, no.
And so I pretty much understand now that one of your main points is to get the voice in. I think there might be a second one, which is recognizing that Ethno could make musicians of people that were not even supposed to be musicians. And then I'm curious, is there still this third one alive? The thing you shared in the beginning, when you were a kid, you always wanted to do something different than everyone else. Are you still trying to do something different?
Am I not doing it right now?
No.
I mean, when you surround yourself with people who are in the same program, you don't feel like it. But in real life, I don't know anybody who is doing anything remotely similar to all of the things that I do. I am a choir director, but the way I direct the choir is ethno style. Also not something super typical, So all of the things that I do in life is now kind of this ethno thing. It's influencing my life a lot, actually. And so when this opportunity arose that, there was a necessity of somebody to step forward as chair, then I don't know. It was kind of logical almost, because I do feel like I'm young. I have a lot of energy. I don't sleep too much. I can still do it like that, so why not contribute and give back to the network that gave me so much? That's, again, coming back to this. I was not supposed to be here, but now I am. And now I have this position, and I want to give all of this back. It's not about me. I don't care about me. I don't care about if I don't know if I can say this, but if I am the party pooper. I can take that on myself. It's okay, because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for the benefit of the program. So this is again something where I was not supposed to be at. This was not my planned trajectory. But I am so happy and I'm so excited that it is my trajectory now, because I feel like I belong where I am now. And I also feel like other people can see it and appreciate it as well. And so it's giving me the push that maybe now I don't have. I was elected when I was not there, and I was not there because Jeunesse Musicale was celebrating its 70th anniversary. So I did have a good excuse of not being there, but still, it was like, okay, what are people gonna think now? Like the new chair is not even chairing. Like, come on.
That's different.
Yeah. I was tabling.
Ah.
I know that you didn't like Lamia's joke about chairs and tables, but it's my favorite joke. Hello, Lamia Saric. Thank you for the table joke. So yeah, it's a lot of unexpected stuff with me, I guess.
For the better, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I really feel like I can contribute a lot.
Of course, it's also very likely
to the program, to the ethno gathering as itself, to the pedagogical aspect, to a lot of stuff. I think I can contribute. But it's interesting also, like, it was not a planned trajectory, but I actually have so many elements from different walks of life that I did that I can contribute with. I'm an ethnologist, perfect. I'm a vocalist, perfect. I'm German translator, I'm good with languages, great. So there are many elements that actually kind of fit now that I think about it. So who knows, maybe it was planned.
Just not by you.
No, I don't know who planned it. I don't really believe in all of that. Who knows, yeah. I don't have an answer for that. Maybe it doesn't need an answer also.
So here during the joint committee, I guess we're talking, all of us in the different committees, about what's going to happen the coming years. What's going to happen for Ethno the coming years, and also maybe if you can look even further, right? With all that energy that you have, where is Ethno in like 2 years, 5 years? What is going to happen?
I say in like 20 years, it's Ethno Mars. No, let's start with Ethno Moon. I think Ethno Moon is going to be first. That's more feasible. And then maybe in 50 is going to be Ethno Mars. We are also planning, there is already kind of an Ethno Island, but why not go bigger, Ethno Continent? We should have an Ethno Boat, I would say also, so that we can do Ethno on the boat. There is Ethno on the road, but why not Ethno on the boat? So there are so many possibilities. I said it in the joint committee meeting in like the opening session, you blink and there are two new ethnos appear. Because I think everybody is recognizing the beauty of the project and everybody wants to go in. And that's great. Like, we want all that we can have, but also we want to slow it down a bit. Because I guess it takes a while to grow this baby. It is a baby. It starts, I say Ethno Croatia is my baby. I didn't start it. This year it's 20 years of Ethno Croatia. So but I do consider it my baby. And I would say I take very good care of it. But it takes time to build this. It takes time for it to grow. It takes time to build a team, to get funding, to find an association that will really and actually support you, not just on surface level. So while it is amazing that this is growing so much, I think it should also slow down a bit. Like, take the time to figure it out. Take the time to see what is specific for your ethno. I mean, we all work on the same basis, but everybody wants to make it a bit different. And I think it should be like this. Just take it easy, like, take the time to explore and see what you like, what you don't like, what works for your... Also, it can be like, depends on the location. Maybe you change location. Maybe you change associations. I mean, this can be so many things. And I think this is kind of my wish, that we take it a bit slower. Because I think like 5-6 years ago, we had around 20 ethno camps. Now it's more than double than that. I think right now it's 42, which is like, wow, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. I wanted to get to 100. How many countries are there in the world? That's how many ethno camps there should be. Ideally it's like this. But it takes time, takes effort. So this is my suggestion also, like, take your time, build on it, especially if you are starting a new one. Take the time to learn the network, like how it works, who are the people. That's kind of my wish. I would say that we slow down a bit, that we work on the content a bit more. We are researching the pedagogy a lot right now because it is so special to this program. It's very specific for the program, and there is a reason why it works. It's all of the little elements that we talked about before. All of the little things make a big thing out of it in the end. So it's like, explore all of this first. Take the time to visit other ethnos as a participant first also. Don't just run into it immediately as an organizer, because I don't think that's the right way. I think really these steps of like participant and or volunteer, then maybe you are like assistant something, then this depends. Like some people only are interested in artistic mentoring, some people are interested in organizing, some people want to do both, but like take the time to explore all of this, because it can only bring you good things. It did the same to me. I took the time. And then the question of me taking this position came kind of naturally, because I did have this slow trajectory, and I don't mind that it was slow. I do think sometimes like, would have been nice if I had started. I was 21. Yeah, I was 21. That was my first time that I went on a gathering like this. And I do think about it sometimes, like, it would have been so nice if I started at 16, 17, 18, but like, didn't know about it before. I didn't meet the right people. This is also important. I think a lot of the times it's really a coincidence that, so let the coincidences happen also. I think it's also good. So yeah, I think taking it slow would be great. And then Ethno Moon, even if it happens in 50 years, that's still a good amount of time. Because by then we will already be on we are already on every continent. But by then we will be in every country, and then we can come together and figure out with the Ethno Committee how to get to the moon. But it is possible. It's so doable, because this project is so great that I think the program itself makes it possible that it continues. So it's kind of a self-sustaining thing.
And of course, Ethno Moon with a lot of just singers.
Yes.
That's a pretty requirement. If people listening want to know more about Ethno, want to maybe apply, maybe want to know more about JM Croatia and the programs that you do here, where can they find things about Ethno? Where can they find things about JM Croatia? Where can they maybe even find you if they have some questions or want to connect with you?
I mean, one of the many things you do when you are a producer in a musical association is that you are also doing social media. So I am actually the person to tell you this. Ženes Muzikal Croatia or Hrvatska glazbena mladež. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Facebook still. We have our own website, so you just Google us and you will find us everywhere. We do a lot of projects. Currently we have projects in Zagreb as well. The majority of the year we are based in Zagreb, and then from May to September, let's say, we are in Grožnjan. So we operate on 2 locations. We have many different productions. We do a lot of classical music, jazz music, but also this traditional stuff, ethno music. So yes, take a look at our social media and our website. And the same goes for Ethno Croatia. I'm bad with TikTok in general, so I am kind of resisting to make TikTok for Ethno, but it's on the way. But for now, Instagram is there and Facebook is there. In 2025, Ethno Croatia celebrates 20 years, which is amazing. And if you want to be part of the amazingness with just singers, you can apply on Mubazar. The applications are open basically until the end of the camp. And it's from July 12th to July 20th. And I would love to have you all there. So if you have any questions, you can reach out. We have like 3 email addresses also. Whichever one you reach out to works fine. And if you want to find me, I guess you also go on social media. I mean, everything is on social media nowadays. What can I tell you? My handle on Instagram is Lucija Maroević. And I don't really use my Facebook anymore. I'm fed up with Facebook because I have to do it for work. And I'm not there yet with TikTok. I'm kind of in between. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Joe Tikotoko. Especially, I aspire to be him with our social media accounts one day.
I was there when Joe Tikotoko became Joe Tikotoko.
I missed it.
Yeah, it was
I just missed
incredible. And of course, if people want to sign up for any ethno, they're all on.
They
Mubazar.
are all on Mubazar, and please also look at ethno.world, the website, and Ethno World on Instagram and Facebook if you want to learn more about ethno as a program and all of the different ethnos. Again, more than 40. So you have plenty to choose from. There is also mobility scholarship. So if maybe it's not possible for you to, if you don't have the means, then you can also apply for a scholarship.
As always, the very last question. What is the power of music?
I don't really know if it has a simple answer. The power of music is that it actually teaches you so much about people, like the way they think, the way they feel, what their culture is like, their traditions, their influences. It's like the power of music is to tell you about people. I think through music you learn the most about people. Maybe this is me as an ethnologist saying it now, but I really do believe this. And it does not apply just for traditional music. I think it applies for every type of music. And the power of music is also, I guess, the fact that it changes you without you even noticing. And it's not necessarily just in a professional way. It's in all of the ways, so there is no easy answer to this. Actually, since you told me, like, okay, you need to think about this question, I have not stopped thinking about this question. It's like, what do I give it as an answer? Like, it's all of the things that I have been talking about for the past 40-ish minutes. All of this is the power of music, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for listening. If you want more information about JM, or you would like to get involved, visit www.jmi.net. At JMI, we are on a mission to make the world more musical. That's why we created Mubazar, a digital platform that helps us manage all our musical activities across 80 countries worldwide, connecting musicians with opportunities to grow both personally and professionally. If you are a music professional looking for a better way to manage and promote your music activities, check out Mubazar. Created for music organizers, by music organizers, Mubazar allows you to run music competitions, workshops, camps, auditions, masterclasses, awards, events, and much more. Mubazar offers custom application forms, payments for your activities, jury tools, translations, analytics, and more. Mubazar is fast becoming the best place for musicians to find and apply for music opportunities online, and you can sign up today for a free organizer account by going to www.mubazar.com, registering, and then requesting to upgrade to an organizer on the right-hand menu. For more info, don't hesitate to get in touch via support@mubazar.com. It would mean a lot to us if you could give us 1 minute of your time and rate and review the podcast. In case you have any suggestions or would like to be one of our next guests, feel free to reach out to us through the JMI socials.